Helluva Boss! I can never escape it, can I? This series has been a huge staple in the YouTube animation scene, way before Hazbin Hotel ever became a fully conceived product on Amazon. Many people would say it paved the way for indie animation, allowing for many others to thrive and grow thanks to what the show started. People praise it for all of its humor and storytelling, whereas other people have better things to do with their lives. Regardless of what you feel about the show, there's no doubt that it has its fans. Make no mistake, you'll be able to see them, or hear them, or even smell them in the most extreme cases. But in all seriousness, folks love the show and the story it's set out to make, with many people creating labors of love to give their support to the show. Art, music, and stories all float amongst the ether on the World Wide Web. However, one thing is very apparent when it comes to the Helluva series. Helluva Boss doesn't have many fan games. Most things delegated to the gaming genre where Helluva Boss or Hazbin Hotel is concerned are generally seen as mods, such as the Luna mod in DNF Duel, or the plethora of Left 4 Dead 2 and Minecraft mods that litter the internet. The idea of a Helluva Boss fan game is honestly not a bad idea though. After all, Helluva Boss has been known to have plenty of fight scenes, and with a large world like the 7 Circles of Hell, it would be criminal not to take advantage of the world and bring it to a different genre of media. You could have different fighting games where you have multiple characters duking it out, or even possibly make it into an RPG, or even a first-person shooter, which 9 times out of 10 there would probably be better to make it into a first-person shooter since the characters use guns a lot, but that's just my opinion. However, as of this point, there is one person who is right now in the process of creating one of the first fully developed and meaty fan games that the Helluva Boss franchise has yet to have. Yes, there is one Helluva Boss fan game where you're essentially playing as Octavia and you're dressing up the Hazbin characters in different outfits. And yes, it was made by RPG Maker or on RPG Maker or Game Maker Studios, not sure which one. And also, yes, the game, though not very long, is still a pretty good game in terms of the sprite art and everything of that nature. But I'm talking about schmeedy games. I'm talking about really schmeedy games that you could sit and waste possibly a couple hours playing. Usually, I myself wouldn't be looking at a demo. Yes, this is a demo, but I feel like this game deserves to be talked about and deserves some spotlight for what it is able to create. Unfortunately, if you weren't used to the games that were everywhere in the arcades, then, well, I hope you enjoy Carpal Tunnel. Helluva Brawl is a 2D side-scroller beat-em-up created by the Twitter user Mystic Mist and has been in development for what seems to be a bit of time. Which, in a way, makes sense thanks to all the sprite work and assets that need to be created. To this day, we right now have a singular demo that was released last year and around the end of June. So, what, pray tell, does this game have? How does it feel to play? Well, let's take a trip down the rabbit hole and see what this one feels like. First off, this game's main story. Basically, Valentina from the Hazbin franchise decided to abduct multiple women, including Tony, who worked as a ring girl model. Due to this, the fan-made character Coco, who is an ex-wrestler and the employer of Tony, decides to hire IMP and the second OC, Harley, a Pentapalm master. With all of them ready for the plan, they set out to V-Tower to save Tony and take out Valentina. The story, though simple, is effective, especially for this genre of games. Having a game like this with a super deep story probably wouldn't work in its best interest, so having it easy to digest is the best idea. Your girl has been stolen, get your big boy pants on, and get to killing. The gameplay for the game is fairly simplistic. You have your usual attacks, your jumps, your desperation moves, which use up a portion of your health, and special attacks, which uses up this purple gauge up there. You can grab your opponents, do a dive attack, and even team up with a friend if you have buddies that want to play. There's really not much to talk or dig into with this particular demo, due to the fact that there are only 2 levels and 2 bosses. The first level seems to take place during Spring Broken, where Verosika takes over IMP for a small amount of time. It even has her limo in the company van spot, with Vortex being the main boss for the first level. He is really easy to beat. The second stage is Pentagram City, where you face off against other little bad dudes and end it off against a chainsaw-wielding dude. That is honestly it for the time being. Even with the small amount of gameplay, I ended up going back and playing as all of the characters. Each one has a bit of differences to them, either with their speed or invincibility frames. The characters I seemed to play well with were, strangely enough, the OCs and Millie. I find myself having to deal with a lot of moments where it's easier to play as one character, and then I'll get trounced as another. I'm not sure why, but what can I say? Maybe I just suck playing these characters. Now, in these levels, it's honestly really fun to play as them. It's really fun playing as these characters and seeing which one I mesh with. Again, I can't give too much of an opinion on the full experience as of this particular point in moment. However, we can take a look at what the creator has in store for the game. Bosses seem to be very plentiful, with there being Striker, Robofizz, Poisoned Angel Dust, Dorks, and Vox. Valentina was there too, but that's a given though. There have even been talks of another playable character being, of course, Luna. She seems to be able to play as both her human and Hellhound forms, as well as her full Hellhound form. One other thing they seem to be adding is the ability to dump your entire special meter to use a super special, dealing out larger amounts of damage to enemies. This, in itself, is already looking like a product worth purchasing. If this was an official product from Viz herself, I could see it being a very well liked product, and not just because it's, well, yeah, of course, Helluva Boss, but because it brings it to a new medium, being gaming, in a way that makes sense and that is honestly a fun time to enjoy. Characters showcase their quirks and personalities in their movesets, they're fun to use, they have differences in strengths, as well as weaknesses as well. They're all, in simple terms, very fun to partake in. The only thing that I had issue with where the game is concerned is the lack of controller support. Now, to be fair, I went into the controller settings and set the gamepad setting to on, yet my controller was not connecting whatsoever. Now, my controller is a Bluetooth controller, so I tried using a wired controller instead, and apparently, that fixed the issue. Once I connected it using a cord, it worked like a dream. So, just a little bit of a tip for anyone else who decides to give the game a try. Other than that, I didn't have any sort of issues with this game at all. Played perfectly without any sort of problems. Helluva Brawl, though incomplete, is already looking to be a very enjoyable time. The things that have already been teased and shown, as well as what is playable, makes me excited to see how everything comes together. With having Luna as a playable character, and the many Has-Been and Helluva characters that will be coming in as bosses, the game is already looking to be a great creation that'll be a historical note in the Has-Been Helluva fandom. With any luck, this game will be fully completed, and will have a huge splash in the fandom. And when it's completed, you can bet that I'll be playing this one and giving my full thoughts to the full project. Links to the game will be in the description below. Give it a shot if y'all are interested.
Also, if you need any ideas for playable characters, I may have a few ideas.
These are all jokes, though. This is jokes. It's jokes. I'm joking.